Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kirill, your Justice analyst from Belarus, living in Germany. Well, finally, the first and second rehearsals of the first semi-final has concluded. We already saw the photos, we saw the 30 seconds rehearsals snippets, and it means it's time to update my first semi-final predictions. First of all, I will remind you who were the 10 qualifiers in accordance with my analysis right before the rehearsals, and you can see their qualification chance percentages on the screen. So today I will again go through all the countries. We will talk about who surprised positively, who surprised negatively during their rehearsals. I will adjust these percentages and let's compare in the end if the 10 qualifiers will be the same or there will be some big surprises. So let's go, let's start with Iceland. So Iceland, in accordance with the bookmakers, has lost one position. They fell from place 12 to place 13. I will nevertheless increase their qualification chance from 25% to 30%. I was really afraid that their performance will be just too empty, too simple, but well, they have this nice boat, they have very effective visuals in the background, inspired maybe a little bit by Minecraft, which I think feeds to these young guys very well. They're very charismatic. Of course, their vocals are not the best, but we already knew that in advance. That's why I think it would be unfair to punish them again for that. So 30%, but I still unfortunately don't see Iceland qualifying at this point of time. Poland, Justyna Steczkowska. So of course the hype around her rehearsal was very high. She was promising us Game of Thrones visuals. I have to say I expected a little bit more. For me it still looks very similar to what we saw at the Polish national selection, just the background visuals are now cooler, even the dresses are kind of similar. I also have to say in this rehearsal video clip which we saw where she's kind of flying and there is this huge dragon flying behind her, she's actually doing some very impressive vocal performance during this time, but unfortunately camera is just so far. This was exactly the same problem at the Polish national selection. They're just trying to show us that she's flying, but by that I think people are missing the fact that this kind of ethereal sounds which are coming, that they're actually coming right from her, that she is making this very impressive whistling notes and it's not part of the backing track. She is of course a star. Her vocal is also absolutely amazing, but the song is of course lacking something. The song is maybe not the most captivating or memorable one from this semi-final lineup. That's why I will decrease her chances to qualify from 85% to 80%, just because my bar of expectations towards her live performance was set even higher. I thought this will be an absolutely mind-blowing performance. It's still very good, but just not as good as I think it could have been. We have left together, we never know. Surprisingly for me, this is the biggest bookmakers grower after the rehearsals. Klemen has won 2 positions, now he's ranked 11th, so kind of on the edge of qualifying in accordance with the bookmaker odds. He also won 6% in his qualifying chances, so they increased from 36% to 42%. Still, for me, this doesn't look like a qualifying entry. I think the visuals with the lights, also the fact that his wife is on stage are really touching and really beautiful, but the song is just way too simple. We have a stronger ballad coming later from Portugal, which I think will appeal to younger audiences, especially more than the ballad from Slovenia. Unfortunately, his vocals were also not working for me. You can immediately hear that he's not such an experienced and seasoned performer as, for example, Justyna, who is performing just before him. So I will increase his qualifying chances from 10% to 15%. Maybe it's not as hopeless as it looked to me before that, but in any case, I still don't believe that Slovenia will qualify this year. Por favore. Espresso, Macchiato. After the rehearsals, Tommy Cash has won 1 position, even though his qualification chance is still 94%, so now bookmakers see him as second favorite in this semi-final. I definitely agree with that. I think this song is just so strong and so catchy. I'm pretty sure that the televoters will absolutely love it. I was ranking his chances as 80% before the rehearsals because I was kind of scared that maybe he will bring something too cringy, something too provocative, maybe kind of Aero style, if you remember Montenegro 2012 performance. But luckily, it just looks good, it looks stylish. Unfortunately, we saw in the rehearsal video clip only the beginning of the performance, which is not the most addictive part, also the only part where we almost have no instrumental, so his vocals very much in focus. It was of course a bit shaky, but nevertheless was good, so I will now increase his chances from 80% to 90%, because now I don't really see any obstacles which will prevent him from qualifying, but because we saw only the beginning of the performance, I am still not confident enough to say it's 100%. Ukraine, definitely one of the most unexpected visual concepts for me from all those rehearsals. This a bit blurry look is not really working for me so much with the camera, even though I think their outfits in the national selection were maybe fit into the song a little bit more. I just feel that I just got used to them, and I think their new outfits are actually much more stylish, maybe fit to this kind of 80s inspired rock theme even more. So I'm still very confident that they are qualifying. I would still decrease their chance from very high 90% to still very high 85%. Just now I have a little bit of concern. I don't know how it will be appreciated by the rest. Just for me, maybe the old visuals were looking a bit more effective. What we saw in the rehearsal video clip definitely looks very similar to their performance from the Swedish Melodifestivalen, and I think if something is already so great, why should you change it a lot? And I think that the background visuals are actually even more amplified. I think they look better than they looked at the Swedish national selection. Of course, I immediately noticed that now they don't have 4 dancers behind them, but just 3, but it still works, and I think if people didn't see their performance from Swedish Melodifestivalen, they would just feel like this is the way how it should be. So in any case, it remains 100% chance that they will qualify, and I think it's quite a safe winner of the semi-final. I was very excited about this rehearsal because we were promised that the visuals on stage will tell the story of the song, and this is exactly what I was missing in their Portuguese national selection performance. And after seeing this music video clip, after seeing the photos from their live performance, I don't really see that the story is coming through, so I was really super excited to increase their chances now to 70-80%, but unfortunately after seeing this live performance, they just have to stay at 55%. I still think that Portugal is most probably qualifying. The song is really standing out in this whole lineup, but unfortunately the visuals might have been much more effective. Also, after 2 rehearsals, their coefficients became higher, which means bookmakers stopped believing in their qualification even more than before that. They're still ranked 14th by the bookmakers, but now their chance to qualify has decreased by 3%. I was a bit concerned that Norway might change their costume, because I think they wanted to change it to not have too much similarity with the Armenian entry. That's why also in the official music video, Kyle Alessandro looked very different. But it seems like they talked to Armenian delegation, understood that Park will not go for any kind of chainmail or armor anymore, and that's why Kyle is back with his almost the same old outfit as at the Norwegian selection. I think it works. He's luckily not getting lost on this big stage, so kinda all my fears which I had towards this entry just disappeared. That's why I'm proudly increasing his qualification chances from 70% to 85%. I'm pretty sure that this entry definitely will be in the final. Another entry which has positively surprised me. I was ranking the chances of Red Sebastian to qualify as 50%. Now I'm proudly increasing them to 65%. I think his live performance looked excellent. They took some key concepts, this color scheme, maybe this accent on the red color from the Belgian Euro song, but then they added those dancers, this very interesting synchron movements. I think it looks very cool. The vocals of Red Sebastian are very stable, and in accordance with what we saw and heard at the pre-parties, he will definitely sound excellent throughout the whole performance. So now I feel much more confident that he will qualify, even though we have a lot of this kind of active songs in the semi-final, but I think Belgium is the one which should qualify. And also Red Sebastian was one of the biggest growers of bookmakers. His qualification chances increased from 64% to 69%, even though position-wise it doesn't change much. If you're thinking why the producers after 2 EDM songs are now putting also another EDM song from Azerbaijan right after, it's actually not the case, because right before Azerbaijan, Italian representative Lucio Corsi will perform his entry, so there will be definitely quite some contrast. I have to say Azerbaijan has disappointed me again, just like last year. I was ranking their chances as 45%, now I unfortunately have to go down to 40%. The vocals of the lead singer were unfortunately not as good as they should be. He even had a small crack, almost in the beginning of the rehearsal video clip. Then in the chorus you could also hear him actually not so well, because there is just a lot of backing vocal, and I was really hoping that in this song, also in the chorus, his vocal will absolutely shine and will not sound pitchy or anything whatsoever. So kind of all my worst nightmares are now coming true. I think the chorus just doesn't come together so well. In any case, I think the red color looks quite effective. I like their costumes, I like the charisma of the guys. It's just vocally and sound-wise for me it's not working at this point of time. I hope in the whole performance it will give different impressions. So as of now, I don't see them qualifying, but I really keep all my fingers crossed because I love this entry so much. Also, the bookmakers seem quite disappointed because they decreased their chances to qualify from 46% to just 39, so minus 7%. They are now ranked 12th, but it seems like even bookmakers lost the hope. Another country which bookmakers were believing in more before the rehearsal, so with 64%, they were sure that San Marino will qualify. Now their chances are estimated as 57%. I was already very pessimistic about this entry before the rehearsals. If you remember, I was ranking the chances of Gabry Ponte as 35%. Actually, I have to say, with the whole visual concept which they have on stage, it's definitely not as good as it should be, but I will still increase his chances to 45%. I think the song might sneak in because some others unfortunately have kind of disappointed with their vocals or with their staging concept. So San Marino, I don't really understand why removed the dancers who were performing on stage at the San Marino Song Contest. I think they were the most engaging one on stage, and now we just have the DJ who is lip syncing and we have singers who are showing absolutely zero emotion, so there is really not much to connect to. So I'm just hoping that maybe they will show the audience more during the performance so that we see people dancing, engaging with the song, because at this point of time just seeing DJ lip syncing and jumping is not really enough. Wow, her dress is absolutely gorgeous. I also love the visual aspect, how it looks with this separation between the left part of the stage and the right part of the stage. I'm not sure what it should represent, but it looks for me very efficient. After seeing this rehearsal, this was the song which gave me almost goosebumps. I really loved how it looked and how it sounded, so I'm definitely increasing their qualification chances to 100%. I think Albania will be in the top 3 of the semi-final, and I just hope that in the grand final it will stand out as much as it does in the semi-final. So in accordance with the bookmakers, Netherlands have lost 2 positions. I was ranking their chances to qualify as 100%. I was already very much concerned about the vocals of Claude. If you remember all my previous videos, the video about Eurovision in concert, my predictions before the semi-final rehearsals, I was every time saying my biggest concerns are his vocals because they were not sounding so well at the Eurovision in concert. And in the published rehearsal video clip, you can see and hear that he's kind of out of breath. Unfortunately, in this song where his voice is very much in focus, this is something what is absolutely not acceptable. So I think his chances to enter top 3 or top 5 are definitely melting right in front of our eyes, but he should still qualify. I will decrease his qualification chances from 100% to 90% because we don't know how the rest will sound like. Maybe it will sound even worse. So I definitely still see the Netherlands qualifying. I just don't see it as one of the potential winners of this year's competition. So Marko Bosniak is still lost in accordance with the bookmaker odds, with quite a big gap towards the place 14. I was already ranking his chances to qualify as 30%. After seeing this rehearsal, after seeing how much confidence he has, how effective the visuals are, this is definitely something captivating. If it will work, I'm not really sure. We have to really see what Marko has brought on stage for the whole performance, but at least this rehearsal video clip is very strong. So I still think that probably it's not enough to qualify because the song is just really, really weak. But I think Marko and the Croatian delegation are really doing the best what they can with the song, and I won't be surprised if he qualifies. I lost my heartbeat, follow the blood. Cyprus. The bar of expectations after all the rumors about his potential performance was set very, very high. And I have to say, maybe it doesn't really reach this bar of expectations for me. I think it looks pretty good. It seems like this secret figure which he's imitating in the live performance is the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. Which kind of story he's trying to tell by this, I'm not really sure. It is really a pity that in the rehearsal video clip we can only hear the first part of the song, so we cannot hear how excellently or how badly he's holding those falsetto high tones which are coming right after. In any case, he sounds good. It seems like there is a very good team behind this performance, so I think he will qualify. I will increase his chances from 65% to 75%, but I have to say I have expected a little bit more from this. So that's what I have thought about the rehearsals of our participants of the first semi-final of Eurovision 2025. But now let's take a look who are my 10 qualifiers and how different it is from the initial predictions. So as you can see on your screen, my 10 qualifiers are Poland, Estonia, Ukraine, Sweden, Portugal, Norway, Belgium, Albania, Netherlands, and Cyprus. And actually, these are exactly the same 10 countries I had before. Some percentages have been definitely adjusted a bit, but I can say that now for me, this top 10 qualifiers is a bit more clear than it was before. Before that, I really saw Belgium on the edge of qualifying. I saw Portugal on the edge of qualifying. I also felt like Azerbaijan might be just knocking on the door to enter this final as well. But now, after seeing these rehearsals, I have to say I don't really feel that San Marino or Azerbaijan or Croatia will qualify. I think this top 10 is kinda safe. I'm not really expecting a lot of surprises. Maybe Slovenia or Croatia or someone else can kick out Portugal, but I think it's quite improbable. So the second semi-final is taking place already on coming Tuesday, so just in a few days. I'm super excited to hear from you if you agree with me or you think that one or another country I got wrong. Please let me know down below in the comments. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. I will definitely talk with you afterwards about the actual results and how different they are from my prediction. I'm very curious to compare, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.